Hello, this is Kathleen from the World Economic Federation. Sorry for the delay on this video. John recently spent a few days in the hospital about a week ago and has been recovering. This whole democratic governance thing is essentially his estate planning, where the voters and committees are trustees that oversee aspects of the estate to protect its integrity institutionally, rather than be dependent on someone's good behavior. Last video, we discussed how the energy reserve credit was effectively a transactable energy future, or war bond, which could be used to partner with the government to eliminate student debt by issuing this government special issue ERC security that are matured from their own sponsorship pool that is purchased with system second credit revenue. These ERC are matured separately from the primary ERC that are matured by yet-to-be-sponsored infrastructure, as well as their own second credit sponsorship pools. Either way, however, all ERC are eventually converted to U.S. dollar-backed green energy credits upon maturity, allowing the bank, reserve, or government to profit or balance budgets from their participation in the green solution. As discussed, we aim to partner with the established financial institutions who are transparent and regulated to begin allowing you to print your own energy credits through the purchase of infrastructure sponsorships. However, just like the government can hold on to student debt ERC until they mature to pay off student and other government debt, mainline ERC held by banks could eventually mature into fully backed energy credits, paying off the loan that purchased the sponsorship for the banking customer. The fiat collateral for those credits can also be lent out by the bank, allowing that same customer to purchase more what could be payment-free loans. This means, unlike most cryptos that count on you to put in money in order to get value out, we aim to make it so participation has zero upfront cost to you, and the system pays back the banking partners on your behalf through the ERC's maturation system. This is how we intend to ensure a universal basic income to our participants. As new green energy infrastructure is made available for sponsorship, you would be able to take out loans to expand your green energy sponsorship holdings, which the system will repay for you, while you collect the month-to-month sponsorship energy credits. This allows you to purchase sponsorships regardless of what your credit score is, since the sponsorship's loan is secured by ERC and repaid with EC maturity with little or no cost to yourself, based on the products offered by the bank you use. This ability to have the system's credit and proof-of-work mechanics address repayment for you essentially allows you to piggyback on the system's credit instead of using your own as an individual, like a traditional loan guarantor, but instead of an individual doing it, this is an entire system dedicated to maturing ERCs. This is why there is no random blockchain offering. This is why we are trying to get this off the ground with the subscribe button rather than charging people. Too often have we seen crypto systems offered with opaque governance, little to no regulation, meaningless backing security or proof of work that bear more resemblance to Ponzi schemes than real economics and finance. This is why we want to launch with our products meaningfully regulated, with transparent governance, and a proof of work that is not only work getting done, but also that backs the energy credit with a real US dollar at the end. At the World Economic Federation, we aim to say no to FOMO. How are other cryptos going to make the world a better place if values are dependent on extracting value from the market before a crash for the early adopters, or where stable coins have no more security behind them but more FOMO, as they adopt value extraction strategies that have led to multiple crashes on the public markets? Even if we have to take a slower route to full system maturity, people missing out is just another word for leaving people behind, and we aim to leave no one behind, so fear is misplaced with the Federation. This week we will cover another long-shot acceleration strategy. First video, we discussed how we could work with the Federal Reserve. Then we discussed how we can make the banks more profitable. This week, we will theory craft another approach that does not require political support. Given the amount of entrenched political interests in supporting the taxation-based fossil fuel industry, there is the very real possibility that we could encounter significant headwinds protecting those interests despite their societal harm. Because of that, it would be advantageous to have multiple strategies, large and small, to avoid dependence on any one group's participation other than consumers. Many of those consumers wish to be voting members of the system's governance. Now that we have discussed the usage of war bonds and energy future mechanics in the proof-of-work system, let's discuss the possibility of having your digital privacy as a proof-of-work layer. Today, you have virtually zero meaningful control over your digital identity, and due to significant lobbying efforts, there is far too sparse of regulations protecting your privacy because most social media sites are ideas in search of a revenue model. Until there is a privacy-safe revenue model for social media, your privacy will always be under threat. In the view of the Federation, social media is a modern utility for mass communication that should be respectful of your privacy. There is also the need for massive communication, services, and feedback systems to allow you to participate in 21st century communication and governance without fear of inappropriate encroachment on your privacy. These systems would have both private and public aspects, with the consumer in charge of their visibility on the public side of things. Since, of course, the entire social media site would be funded by an allotment of second credit revenue sponsorships, as with the rest of the system, it would not need to trade on consumer privacy or antagonistic and manipulative algorithms in order to stay afloat or drive profit. Your Federation page would be under your control, not making your private life for sale. This means, in time, you will be able to have access to a more family-friendly social media network you can trust, that welcomes consumer protections and oversight to ensure its proof of work at no additional cost to yourself. Furthermore, if there is an influencer, artist, or website that you wish to support, the Federation will offer you the opportunity to participate in a privacy-safe advertising platform for participating businesses based on an old project of ours that we had to shut down when John's heart problems started, and they said to avoid stress. Originally, people were very hostile to the idea of social media's revenue model being a threat to democracy, but that position aged well in the worst way possible, so we will try to bring it back. We intend to integrate that project into the Federation wallet as part of the small business services, allowing them access to cost-per-action advertising that supports the wishes of their customers without encroaching on their privacy. Many of you will notice the influence of John's military background on the implementation of the Federation, where the jobs, benefits, and services available to Federation members have strong parallels to the benefits of the military without the baggage of being a military. This is because they are second to none in terms of large-scale logistics and adaptability to solving large-scale problems in adverse situations. To put it simply, the U.S. military is not woke. It is just so pragmatic, it does not have time for people's politics to get in the way of meeting their objectives. From work, healthcare, living wages, long-term employment opportunities, paid time off, subsidized access to partnered stores and merchants, housing and logistics, the Federation will need to be able to do all of these things and do it through efficient, secure, and integrated communication systems that scale while protecting their privacy. We want you focusing on solving problems and making a difference, not struggling. The fastest way to do this, of course, would be to find an already established social media platform that is struggling to find a revenue source that does not betray their users and democracy, and take it private with a leveraged buyout offer with a potential banking partner. This leveraged buyout would be secured with an appropriate number of special issue energy reserve credits issued to a bank who finances taking the network private. Basically, the social media site is a credit history in search of a revenue model, and the Federation is a revenue model who could benefit from a more established credit history, banking relationships, development, and resources. But as subscribers and Patreon support grows, the less we will need the acceleration, and we could just develop our own more secure social media utilities that welcome consumer privacy laws and let the free market decide if you prefer privacy or being a product. However, given the considerable decline of social media stock values as they struggle to deliver good returns on investment, maybe one of them might be interested in a profitable LBO exit before the stock goes lower, or our privacy-safe products hit the market to compete with their traditional social media models. As always, we invite you to like and subscribe to support the World Economic Federation, or you can join our Patreon community by following the link in the description. Join us next time when we come up with yet another way to make capitalism pay.